Hey guys, what's up? Hope you're all doing well. We're just gonna have a chill video here addressing a situation that I feel like I need to address because sadly in a way it involves me to an extent. I've had people ask me, not even just in my own comment sections but also in live chats and other people's streams. And yeah, fair enough. This is not a takedown video on Sungrand or anything of that sort, but I will be totally honest with you guys and say what I think is actually going on with him, and I'll also not mince words on what I'm thinking. I think it's important to just straight up say things the way that they are instead of making excuses or enabling behaviors that I believe are bad for him, bad for his channel, and also his audience. But this is not going to be like a full compilation of video clips of what he said and what he did, especially when several of his videos pertaining to the situation have either been deleted or privated already anyway. I meant to make this video earlier and I did write a bit of a script to keep track of my thoughts, but I wanted to finish my Assassin's Creed video first, and that ended up in a week-long endeavor by the end, so by now so many people already made so many videos on this. One of the things I had originally in this video was about how if Sungrand's goal was to get rid of negativity in his comment sections, he just ended up doing the worst thing possible and inviting even more of it. And you don't need to be a pro YouTuber to know that. Even people in his comments, just normal members of the audience, not YouTubers, were saying that. I first reached out to Sungrand in good faith and good intentions, and that's the main reason why I am making this video. I went with his narrative, which I honestly don't believe anymore, and I made a video addressing people in general, which obviously means you guys in my audience. And now that information is just not reliable anymore, and so I would rather correct the record for both that video as well as the other occasion where I mentioned him in a positive light. As usual, there are timestamps in the description and in the top comment in case you want to jump around. Alright, let's jump in. Ever since he blew up last year with his Concord video, I started watching several of his videos. I was a fan of his work because he was supposedly working in the industry, and I don't just mean games either. If you recall, whenever he gave the more serious industry speeches, he would introduce himself and say exactly who he is and exactly what he does in the industry. He mentioned things like consultant, liaison, PR manager, event manager, public speaker, etc. And at the end of a recent video of his addressing Doug Bowser, the president of Nintendo America, he even said that Nintendo has his contact and his people know how to contact him. So back then, when he gave these speeches and talked about this stuff, I obviously got an idea of this guy supposedly being the real deal, and I really admired him for that, and I found his input on the industry matters to be a really good thing for us. I also liked the gist of his videos, such as his demeanor whenever he was calling out the many problems in the industry, stuff that we talk about often. I liked how he was able to cut deep and efficiently without using any cuss words and all that jazz that the corporate world obviously hates and immediately dismisses. I mean, make no mistake, the higher-ups of the games industry have to get off their high horses and listen to us whether we are being formal or informal in the way that we speak. That's just the reality whether they like it or not, because if they don't and keep ignoring our feedback, no matter how foul the language is, then they're just going to end up losing sales anyway. At the end of the day, people are informal and ruder in the way that they speak, more toxic, because of a result of these companies pushing and pushing and pushing against us, losing our respect and loyalty. That's the number one thing. And the number two thing is that at the end of the day, this is the games industry, not a fancy wine tasting convention. We aren't here to dress up in a tie and speak eloquently in order to have what we say be taken into account. But with Jarrell from Sungrand Studios, this was a bit different. He had a lot of reach thanks to blowing up to, I think it was like 50,000 subscribers or something the first time around with the Concord thing, and then further blowing up past that all the way to 80 and then 100 very quickly thanks to Asmongold reacting to like 2 or 3 videos in his channel and also posting them to his YouTube channel. In the matter of a couple of months he exploded, and with that reach he could make his industry call-out videos and we could essentially, like, let me see if I can phrase this properly. Basically guys, I don't think Jarrell is some kind of godlike being who is able to have the ultimate take. In fact, I found that some of his videos lacked substance because he didn't cover a situation fully and he didn't dive deep. but he did cut to the chase in a perfectly digestible way that no executives or developers in the industry could ever miss. They're not too long, he doesn't use foul language, and he spoke in a very matter-of-fact kind of way. He stayed away from like giving his opinion per se, and so that was my whole thing with Sungrand. I appreciated the work that he was doing, I liked the dry humor and the sarcasm that he would sometimes employ, I liked how he was able to do a short but cutting speech that got right to the point and told the basic points of what's going on with none of that classic old YouTuber gamer rage or whatever it is that these companies fear so much, and without showing partisanship and without going into culture war drama stuff online. And so that's why in this video right here, where I criticized the Actman for some things in relation to the culture war stuff in gaming, I praised Sungrand for being someone who stays away from dramas and toxicity and just makes content acknowledging these problems in the industry all the same, while also doing his own thing with positive videos, playing music, talking about life, comedy skits, etc. And also why I said that if there was a person that deserved the benefit from the Asmongold effect, it was Sungrand Studios. And now I just don't feel that way anymore. I honestly don't know quite what to feel because I still don't fully understand the situation, but I don't like it. And I think that he isn't the person that he has showed himself to be, and so I have to correct that record, including what I said in this video, which was reaching out to him and both trying to explain to him why people in his audience were getting upset at him, but also defending him from harsher comments calling him a fake and a fraud. I wouldn't still go fully on board with the fake and fraud comments, however, I am no longer confident that he is speaking the truth about what he said in that video either, which is what we'll get into right now, so I'm correcting that record as well. All in all, I don't even know what he's doing right now. I think his narrative about not wanting to do negative content is ridiculous. I think his reasons are also ridiculous. He claims that making the content that he made, aka advocating for the industry's betterment, was drawing in bad negative people and that it was in itself negative content, and it just isn't. It's plain and simple truth. If he believes it to be true, why would he believe it to be negative? And if he doesn't believe it to be true, then why would he be making videos about it in the first place? I think he's genuine about the videos, I just think that he has this totally wrong about it being negative. It's positive because it's working towards a positive goal, and it also was not drawing in negativity. If you go through his videos before the Nintendo situation, you will see overwhelming positivity, including in his non-industry videos. The negativity only began when he began mindlessly defending Nintendo's recent anti-consumer decisions, and when his audience wasn't agreeing with him, and when he caught the attention of another YouTuber called Fratanga, who made videos calling out various Nintendo defenders' arguments. Sungrand was just wrong about Nintendo and their pricing. He's so blinded by his bias of it that it resulted in his crash out video, and I think that this whole situation about negativity in his videos is just cope. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe he's telling the truth when he says that, you know, he's been wanting to stop his channel growth since a long time because he's not a YouTuber, but come on, how does that even make sense? If you want to stop growth, stop making videos. Most of his videos are not these important industry speeches, they're other content that he did because he wanted to make it. He's more of a YouTuber than me with 2 or 3 times more upload frequency. So I really don't understand these arguments, I don't understand why they even matter, like why does it matter what if you consider yourself a YouTuber or not? It doesn't matter. And I don't really think that these arguments were genuine, especially because his channel was always super positive except for when this happened with Nintendo. His Nintendo saga is where everything started to go to hell. And by the way, of course, I totally accept that not every comment was positive before. I'm just saying they had nothing to do with it. It's just like me, I also get negative comments. Everyone who makes videos like these are going to get negative comments. Actually, it doesn't matter what kind of videos you make, you're always going to get negative comments. But obviously, people who are making videos calling out the activism within the industry are going to get hate. It just is what it is. I'm a small channel and I already have people who hate me for no reason. Like, I've had comments from people who hadn't interacted with anything of mine at all, and they were negative as fuck. And that's to say nothing from Twitter interactions. I've had Twitter interactions where it's like, oh, this fucking guy, this fucking guy, this guy is the fucking worst. And I'm just like, what did I even do? If it's like this at around 13,000, I don't even know how it's going to be at 23 or 30. I understand not wanting to deal with that. I understand not wanting to draw that kind of negative attention. And I also understand that this is something that you probably learn to deal with as you go along, and he didn't really have time to learn. He was just there and then suddenly his channel blew up. But one way or the other, these people are not your audience members, and you should not turn on your audience, because your audience are going to be the people that are going to be there to stick up for you. But anyway, I also think that this is a multi-layered situation, and there's a lot more going on underneath. So let's get on to what actually happened. I hope you guys are mostly caught up on this. What basically happened was this. Sungrand was making videos on the announcement of the Switch 2. He was having a blast glazing the console and talking about its possibilities. Nothing wrong here. But then of course the internet got rightfully pissed off at Nintendo's terrible business decisions with the Switch 2, such as the price of the console, subscriptions, accessories, and especially the price of the games increasing to $80 and potentially even $90 depending on region and taxes. People were rightfully mad, and that's what matters here. So Jarrell went ahead and he made a video that is now also either deleted or privated. In the video, he is a bit odd, just wanting to be really positive about the Switch 2 prices and decisions. Again, I don't have the video anymore, and this was quite a while now, so I may paraphrase some things here and there. He was addressing certain arguments such as inflation as it just being an adult reality, something that just is what it is, and that the company needs to do it or it will go under, which is absolutely ridiculous. I have videos on all the arguments that people used over the past couple of weeks. You can check their links in the description and top comment if you're interested. In short though, Nintendo is killing it with billion-dollar profits. Them needing this to survive is provably wrong. And then towards the end of the video, he also made an appeal for people to just be cool with it, to just be positive, etc. because if Satoru Iwata was still here with us, then he would just want us to be happy and excited about the Switch 2.
Question: does that make me a dumbass?
He even used a picture of the man, faded away a bit behind him. It was a bit weird, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was a bit cringe, and a lot of people found the entire thing to be an incredible miss from Jarrell, and in very poor taste to use Iwata in the way that he did. It's also worth mentioning that this got at least one response video from Fratanga making fun of him. That's just how Fratanga is, that's his content, and I think Jarrell really took it badly. And then, seeing his comment sections reflecting that criticism, saying that using Iwata was disrespectful, probably really got to him. I mentioned Fratanga here because Jarrell himself mentioned him later on in his comments. He said Frittata nonchalantly, as if he didn't know the guy's name, but it's obvious that he did, I mean come on. After this video there was another one that is also currently gone, and on it, he just totally changed his demeanor and was now being way more condescending and patronizing to his audience. I think I have that one downloaded because I used some clips of it. I'll put them on screen right now if I did. If not, then this is awkward. Nah, I totally got him, don't worry about it. Here you go.
Let me make something clear. I am not here to tell you how to feel or how to think. I will share with you a wider, more well-considered perspective of these topics, and you can choose to either accept reality and take that information on board, or you can reject it and disagree with me. It's your choice. I am not telling you that you're not allowed to be angry. You are. Now, today I'll share my knowledge and wisdom with you, not just as an industry professional, but as an adult who is watching the world and paying attention. It is very sad to hear from so many people in the comment sections who have resigned themselves to never having any actual understanding of the world and life. If you view the world through a narrow perspective, then your understanding of the world will be narrow. There is no aspect ratio wide enough to give you a real, genuine understanding of the world and the people in it. I'm not always going to be here to give you the answers. One day, we'll have to say goodbye, I'll have to leave, and you will have to learn to think for yourself. With that out of the way, there is no reason to be angry about game key cards. Think about it. We already have games that function the exact same as game key cards. The only difference is right now, publishers are being dishonest about it. So how do you fix a problem like this? Transparency and honesty. If only there was some company who actually cared about the user experience for its customers. If only there was a company that actually cared about transparency and honesty and accountability. Have you figured it out yet? Hey. 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 Look here. Are you paying attention? What have you got there? What do you... Give me your phone. Give me that. What is this? Cocoa melon?
So the whole topic with that video was about cartridges. Long story short, Nintendo made it so that if a studio releases a game that isn't fully on the cartridge and it requires an external download, then they have to disclose it on the box. People complained about this and said that Nintendo was now going to be selling games that aren't on the cartridge. He said that this was misinformation, but it wasn't. It's objective truth. Sure, it was already happening, but the practice will continue. Jarrell also said that Nintendo was actually being super cool and lovely and consumer friendly because they were making studios disclose that the games would not be on the cartridge. I argue that if Nintendo wanted to be consumer friendly, they would outright forbid that from happening unless in strictly necessary cases where the cartridges couldn't fit the game. As it is, the system will just be abused, and we already have proof of it happening with Bravely Default's remaster not being in the not being in the cartridge despite being 11 gigabytes. Even though Cyberpunk 2077 Complete Edition is fully available in a cartridge at like 67 gigabytes. If Cyberpunk can do it, there's no excuse for Bravely Default at all, except they just want to do it, and Nintendo will let them do it. If Nintendo wanted to be friendly, they would force them to put the games in the cartridge whenever possible. Companies are just going to use this system now to push their all-digital agenda onto the Nintendo platform as well. Nintendo is not being consumer friendly by warning us that we're getting fucked by these companies. They're actively enabling that to happen, and even endorsing it by making physical copies more expensive than digital ones, setting yet another negative precedent. Jarrell sadly never acknowledged any of this in his future videos. He just kept going on with the narrative that people were engaging in misinformation or rage-bait content. This context is important because his audience was rightfully upset at him defending clearly anti-consumer practices with bullshit arguments. This created a really bad vibe within his community, especially with patronizing and condescending comments such as the Cocomelon thing, and other comments as well where he would say people don't understand the matters that he's speaking of, as if we're just a bunch of idiots or children if we don't agree with his big brain objective takes. And if this was truly his way of trying to get rid of negative people in his audience by purposefully triggering them with condescension, then it was the dumbest plan that he could have ever come up with. You don't do that with a matter like this. You do that with a matter that is clear, that clearly delineates normal people from extreme people. Nintendo's pricing is not such a matter. People who disagree with these price increases and business decisions are not extreme in any manner. They're normal. But I'm getting way ahead of myself, so let me just go back. Anyway, after that condescending cartridge video, this video happened right here.
I recently did a video explaining my position on the Switch 2 situation. I'm very unhappy with the Switch 2 pricing, but I've been trying to stay positive about it in my videos, and it resulted in people being very angry at me about being so positive about the videos, and I want to explain that. But also, this is a topic it's pretty important because over the past 2 weeks, it has affected every single one of my videos. It has affected every single line of dialogue that I've spoken in my videos. About 2 weeks ago, someone very important to me died. And I didn't want to talk about it. But I knew that it was going to influence all of my decisions going forward in terms of work, how I approach the industry.
In which he tells people that the reason why he's been acting weird lately is because a very dear friend to him has just died 2 or 3 weeks ago from the release of that video, and he was special to him. He was a mentor who got him into the photography industry, and that's where he started, etc, etc, etc. He was amazing. He was able to see where an industry would fail immediately, and he was able to point it out, and he learned everything from him, and yada yada yada. Honestly guys, I don't buy much of this, if anything at all, and let me try to explain why very shortly. recently. There's just too many weird parallels. For example, he talks about a dead friend and how he wishes that he was back, and then you think back to that previous video that he did in which he uses Iwata. It's just a weird correlation there. Also, the way that he talks about how this friend, you know, he used to be able to pinpoint anything that was going wrong in an industry, was able to really get to the point there and really identify it and really say what it is, and that he learned everything from him. It's almost like he's referring to himself and that he knows better.
I'm not always going to be here to give you the answers. One day, we'll have to say goodbye. I'll have to leave, and you will have to learn to think for yourself.
Especially with the videos that came after, like, this is hindsight. Back then I didn't think this is just hindsight now, because there's going to be videos that I'm going to talk about right now in which he's just addressing people, and we'll get there when we get there. Let's just continue for now. In the video, he also said that he had another friend who only has a few months to live, and so he wanted to stop doing negative videos because that's just not what he wants to focus on anymore. He wants to be there for his friend and to be a source of positivity and reassurance, remember that word, and that he can't do that unless he commits to it and makes strictly positive content on his channel as well. What does that have to do with anything? I don't know. In hindsight now, I see this as yet another inconsistency where with this video it was because of his friend, and in most recent videos it's because he was uncomfortable with the growth of his channel, and so he was planning for a while now in how to lose subscribers. He even made this argument in his most recent video where he goes fishing. But anyway, this is when I made my first video reaching out to him, defending him, while also telling him why his audience was pissed off at him and why he was so wrong about Nintendo's decisions. Because while I still believed him to be wrong, I also believed that he was also additionally going through a loss. He probably didn't watch the video. I mean, I don't know, honestly, he might have. He did say that he had been watching people's videos, and he did comment on a video of mine a couple of months ago, but he may have just been talking about Fratanga. I think he is the #1 person Sungrand referred to, but either way, I made my video anyway because I thought, you know, I got around 13,000 subs, I'm small, but I'm not like a shrimp anymore, I'm more of a sardine now, and maybe he would see it and maybe it would help him out a little bit. And of course, the #1 reason why I did the video was because I bought it. I believed that what he said there had been real because it felt relatable. I don't want to get too personal on here, but a few years back, some really bad stuff went down with a family member of mine, and I remember this feeling of not wanting to engage in negative ways at all. I didn't have the energy to care about anything. Everything negative around me didn't really matter. It was completely contrasted by this one big, huge bad thing that was going on. So it felt very trivial and insignificant. I couldn't bother with it, nor did I want to. It shook me up a lot, and I wasn't even gaming anymore, I just wanted to be distracted. So I saw that video and I thought, okay, this loss must have hit him really, really badly, and he just doesn't want to feed into negative energy. He probably doesn't even care. He probably looks at the price hike and it's totally insignificant and trivial to him. He doesn't understand because this loss has shaken him and detached him from reality. Basically out of reality and into a place where people complaining about the price of a video game is utterly stupid next to what he was going through. This is what I thought was going on, so I reached out. And I also thought that that video that he made was representative of a shift in behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that that video was his way of saying, okay guys, I screwed up, this is what happened, now let's put all of this behind us, and I'm just going to take a break from content, and I'm just going to do my own thing here for a while, and we will see each other again soon. I thought that that was going to happen, it's what should have happened, and if it did, he'd be on cloud 9 right now, but this didn't happen at all. He didn't take any breaks at all. He immediately went back to uploading, and despite him saying all the time that he's not a YouTuber, this dude was out here uploading daily, sometimes twice a day. And it wasn't just that he got back to uploading immediately, it's that he doubled down on everything that he had been doing wrong. He made the video messaging Doug Bowser, and in it he was back to being condescending and patronizing to his audience and his peers on YouTube, but in third person, as he spoke as if he was talking directly to Doug Bowser. In this video he said something that directly bothered me. I watched it at work, actually. I was making food while watching that video, and then I even started taking voice notes for a response while I was at it. It really upset me. The chicken had never been spicier than it was that day. And I know it shouldn't have bothered me because at the end of the day, I knew that it wasn't directed at me because, again, small channel. But somehow, it bothered me anyway because it was misrepresenting all of us, and by us I mean both YouTubers who are making content protesting these egregious decisions and straight up counter-arguing bullshit excuses, but also just regular gamers and viewers who see that shit and get mad at it and protest it as well with comments, memes, dislikes, and also live comments on Nintendo Direct. Sungrand made it very clear in that video that anyone who was angry, anyone who even merely used the word greed, were all just rage baiters, and our concerns were not supposed to be heard. Basically, the only concerns that were acceptable were those of people who were mildly miffed that they might be priced out of the new Nintendo and the new games. Furthermore, in his message to Doug Bowser, he didn't even bother to show interest in trying to convince him to lower the price of the Nintendo or to rethink the price increase on the games, or maybe cutting the price of the subscription service, etc. Like, there was just nothing. All he was concerned with was that Nintendo needed someone to step in and manage communication better. Someone with the human element, someone with experience, someone who is used to handle criticism online and still manages to maintain a calm and professional demeanor. This was the most pathetic part of that video, because if you're going to be that obvious, just put your balls on the table and say it. Mr. Doug Bowser, please hire me to handle the PR and communication shit show that your company got itself into. I have 100,000 subscribers and 86 different suits, because that's precisely what he was alluding to. And he also specifically used the word reassurance once again, saying that what actual Nintendo fans who matter want now is reassurance. Everyone else is just rage baiting and wouldn't buy the Nintendo anyway, so they don't matter. But the real Nintendo fans, they needed reassurance from communication.
Right now, Nintendo would really benefit from a human element in the way that it is communicating with consumers right now. What people really need is more clarity and transparency as to the reason why prices are the way they are. Right now, people need someone who they can trust. Nintendo would really benefit from someone who can work with a team to filter through the noise so they can understand the needs, expectations, and situation of genuine customers, people who have real worries and concerns. Nintendo would really benefit from someone who is able to handle receiving abuse and negativity from the internet and still be able to communicate in a calm and clear manner. What Nintendo's customers need right now is reassurance. We don't want to have to look at a video that says, oh, Nintendo is anti-consumer, they're greedy, they're hateful, they're angry. Of course we don't want to look at those things, so we won't open those videos, we won't listen to that, because it's pretty obvious those people just want to generate hatred, so we're not going to hear any of the feedback. Right now, due to just how things are all around the world with so many different things, it's just a combination of so many different elements. Nintendo is the world's punching bag right now because people have nowhere else to vent their frustration. People are running out of Tesla buildings to vandalize and burn down, and they don't have anywhere else to throw out their feelings.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
It's not your job, it's not Nintendo's job to bring any kind of positivity or hope to the world. But I personally hope that you will try anyway. I really wish there was a way I could help the situation. If you guys would like to contact me, you have my contact information. Your people know how to contact me. Take care. Thank you, Mr. Bowser.
Once again, I don't like the way that these things weirdly correlate with past videos. And at this point, I actually want Nintendo to hire Jarrell, because if there's a mindset and an attitude that's going to tank that console harder than the Wii U, it's with Jarrell on board telling customers to shut up and go watch Cocomelon videos. Anyway, yeah, I saw this and I addressed it in this video, and at this point I was disappointed with him, and my mindset was that yes, he is still dealing with loss and he needs to find some clarity of mind, and I'm very sorry for his loss, but that is no excuse for continuing to defend anti-consumer practices while also lying about other YouTubers and their videos, calling them misinformation and rage bait, which he never showed any examples or receipts of whatsoever. Sadly, things went and got even worse, and he made this crash out video where he sits down and gives his audience a stern talking. He is straight up just sitting there as scolding people for 8 minutes straight. This video is sadly also gone, but you can still find clips of it online because some YouTubers reacted to it, such as Hypnotic. In this video, he's just visibly mad. He's pissed off and he looks like he's almost breaking into an unhinged rant. The main takeaways from this video though is that he says that all of what just transpired had been planned. Planned for what? I don't fucking know. Some kind of plan to test the audience, to show something to the industry. He called his videos over the course of the past 2 weeks prompts, and that they weren't meant to be taken literally and were being used to gauge our reaction, and that the industry was watching and paying attention to us. And that we had all failed by responding so negatively to him over the past couple of weeks.
You might know me as the guy who put on the suit. I have made it very clear that I am not a YouTuber. I am a professional working in the games industry. And I will sometimes be covering topics and presenting topics with speeches that you will not always understand. I told you that whatever I discuss here on industry topics will be for the gamers. And I asked you to be patient, to listen, and to trust me.
Why don't you explain this to me like I am an 8-year-old?
I said everything I say in my videos will not be just literal. There's a lot of meaning to what goes into these videos, and they are not literally just to make a video for attention.
Okay.
They are to guide people to sharing their feedback, to lead a conversation toward a discussion, towards people sharing their perspectives, but also showing the industry how you respond to various topics with various tones and subjects, how you respond to certain situations, how you respond to information.
Ho!
Now, when the announcement for the Switch 2 was launched, things were not going well. There were many negative reactions online, and I posted a number of videos that were not just literal.
Yeah.
They were prompts. They were prompts for you to share your feedback so the industry could see how you feel and how you respond to certain subjects.
Why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?
It did not go well in the fact that people, instead of receiving any information or viewing the matter in a subjective way, merely through tantrums. And because of that, people turned on me, but people were slandering me for a time period, and not a single content creator stood up in my defense. Now, what does that show the industry? You have just shown the games industry that there is no reason for them to listen to you, because you just act like children.
Woo!
I expected much better, and I'm very disappointed. What matters to me is that I can no longer create these speech videos addressing industry matters because of how you guys responded. Because I did a video, you guys ignored all of the information and turned everything into hatred, hate content, into slandering, and then nobody stood up and said, wait a second, hold on, maybe there's some information in here. I've been watching all of your videos. I have been the only industry professional addressing this matter in the public space in a direct way. Do you understand that?
Okay, break it down in terms of, okay, I think I'm getting you.
Because of that, I can't make these speech videos anymore. Do you understand the reasoning why? You've just destroyed our credibility. This was an endeavor with you and me, and you've destroyed our credibility with your behavior online over the past week. 2 weeks or whatever it is. So moving forward, I will not be addressing any industry topics whatsoever, because I can't anymore. You destroyed our credibility. Great work.
And honestly, fellas, I'm gonna be stone cold candid with you right now. This video was fucking crazy. He done lost it. He was acting as if this was some kind of crazy 4D chess shadowplay game with very high up people in the industry paying attention to us and our reaction through his fucking videos that barely even had that many views. Definitely not enough views for the industry to be paying attention, and that if we had shown that we had the ability to listen, then his plan would have worked and gaming would have been saved, or something like that. And now it's all over because we didn't listen. We weren't mature and well adjusted enough to understand what he was doing. So now no one in the industry will ever listen to us either. They won't have a reason to, because for some reason we responded badly to Jarrell saying nonsense in defense of Nintendo's prices and using Iwata as a poor taste emotional manipulation to just shut up and consume product. Somehow being upset at Nintendo price hikes was the wrong reaction for us losers to have to his special video prompts. Are you confused yet? So am I. But I'll tell you one thing, if being upset at predatory price hikes is the wrong reaction to have, I don't want to have the right one. And it also didn't seem to me like Jarrell believed in us or anything of the sort, since he had been taking a very condescending and patronizing tone with his audience over the past few days. I think he was just crashing out over the criticism and the dislikes in his recent videos. And another thing is that this industry has never really listened to us. We've been out here for years and years, it's always been the same song and dance. The industry pulls some shit, people fight against it, raise their voices, complain, talk shit, insult, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And the industry has two options: they can either listen to us and make positive changes and move on, or they can challenge us and do the opposite, continuing to try and push their shit on us, be that whatever it is. Price increases, monetization tactics, broken early access launches, blockchain bullshit, advertisements, in-game, political activism, modern audience remakes, whatever it may be. It's something that has been going on for years before Sungrand. It was like this already when I was a kid, and it's going to be like this despite Sungrand for many years to come. He's not a messiah, he isn't going to end the divide, he's just another dude like us. In fact, that's what he usually calls himself in his videos. He says, I'm not a YouTuber, I'm not someone special, I'm just a regular guy like you. The AAA industry doesn't really care, they're not here for us, they're here for profits and control, that's it. This video was very distasteful, and it bothered me because he had just admitted that he had been cooking up some random bullshit to reach some goal. The weird thing is that now that I think of it, with Doug Bowser's video in mind, it's like he got mad that that video got dunked on as well. Like maybe he was hoping that everyone would watch that video and be like, you know what, this guy, he knows what's up, man. I really hope Doug Bowser hires him. I'm gonna buy a Nintendo snitch if Doug Bowser hires Jarnell. I don't know. One thing that is for sure is that I totally lost trust in this guy, and now I wasn't even sure if his story about the friend with cancer was real, because he had just said that he had been making these fake videos on purpose as prompts for our engagement and reaction for some MasterChef plan. This was a really fucked up thing to lie about, to emotionally manipulate people with. Still, I just left a comment under this video and I moved on. Of course, he did end up deleting the video or privating it, so the comment isn't even there anymore. But then he goes and he makes another terrible goddamn video, this time popping up on camera, big smile on his face, happy guy looking ass, having the time of his life, and just starts going off about how actually the video from yesterday, the big crash out, was just the last lie in a long string of carefully planned lies over the course of weeks. And that's when he explained that over the past few months he had noticed that people really liked coming to watch his videos to chill out and have a good positive time, and that the nature of his content had been attracting a lot of nasty negative people who just wanted negativity. So he was mulling it over in his head, how can he go ahead and get rid of all of these terrible negative people that he amassed by making videos calling out the greedy and political sludge interred into the games industry. And then that's when he saw the Switch announcement and it just clicked in his head and he said, this is it. This is my opportunity to get rid of all the bad audience members. And he started cooking up this amazing, terrific plan, across several different scripts dating back 2 to 3 weeks before this video that we're talking about. Basically since the start of the Nintendo Switch 2 saga. And this was done with the goal of losing subscribers and getting rid of the negative people. He made this video one day after that last one that we just discussed, and at this time he had lost about 2,000 subscribers only, and in the video he even said that he wishes that he had lost more because there's more of these bad negative people around. Somehow he decided to make this stupid ass video anyway instead of making more terrible ones. And this is just one small reason why I believe that he's lying again. I mean, come on, what are you doing, fella? If you're intending to lose subscribers, let's go. Chop chop. One crash out video claiming you've been master planning some random shit in the industry is not enough. You need like 3 or 4 more. You need a full heel turn. One of them should have been like an even bigger crash out, maybe in collaboration with the Cocomelon channel. Then you should have followed it up with another one reading mainstream media articles about how amazing Concord actually was and how great the price hikes from Nintendo really are for the business, and just affirm all of it as true. And then, to close it off in a bang, you should have ended it with a collaboration video with Alyssa Mercante talking about the toxicity in the male-dominated video game space. Now that right there would have cooked. If you ever get another sudden subscriber bump that you want to get rid of, make sure to contact me about this. You got my contact number already. You know how to reach me. My audience knows too. 420 Sandy Balls Road. Anyway, he specified that he had started this weeks ago and had been using phrasing that he knew would upset those audience members while being sure that his true positive audience would remain. This didn't happen either. A bunch of people that remain to this day have no idea what he's talking about and hated this deception. In fact, I would say that he lost more subscribers of this kind than Nintendo haters. In fact, most of his subscriber base is just normal people like that. I still, to this day, I don't understand where this narrative came from of having negativity in his community. If he's talking about the odd negative comment, just ignore it. Anyway, once again, God, his first excuse was that it was because of his friend who died and his other friend who was dying of cancer. He wanted to cut out the negative content because he wanted to focus on positivity. His second excuse was that no, never mind all that, it was just lies in a 4D chess game with videos specifically planned to be prompts fit to gauge an audience reaction from us so that the industry would see how we respond to being given information. And finally, his third excuse is that wait, no, actually everything is fine and dandy, he's not mad, he's just been lying about everything else. All the other lies were the actual lies, and now the full honest truth is that he's been playing 5D chess actually, and he has planned and scripted videos for the course of all of these weeks since the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement with the intent of expunging all the negative people from his audience that he gained by talking of industry matters involving Concord, Veilguard, Avowed, Shadows, etc. Because his other audience members were really bothered by them and they just wanted some nice positive content at the end of the day. Sorry guys, it just doesn't sound good. In the end, what is there to even say? Obviously the saga didn't end there. This video also got deleted or privated, and then he made another one thanking 3 YouTubers, which looked like an even bigger crash out. The dude looked like he was about to cry while also having the industry pointing a gun at his head. And the worst part is that I don't know if it's real or not. He broke that trust, and now I just can't tell anymore. He went on about how he really admires the work of these 3 YouTubers. They were Smash JT, Hypnotic, and Vara Dark. They all watched the video and dropped a positive comment. Bless their hearts for being chill with this, probably partly because of not being fully up to date on what was going on by the time that they saw the video and made the comment. And also probably partly because they saw him and still see him as a good guy, and fair enough. I mean, I'm still so confused at this shit. The only thing that I know for sure is that I can't trust him or a word that he says about any of this stuff. If he lied about his friends, I wouldn't say that he's a good person, but the truth is, it could very well be true. It could be very true that that happened to him. It's just that it might not be relevant. Bad things happen to people all the time. It's up to you as a content creator to choose to bring it up on your content and to use it as an excuse if you screw up. Just like with everyone else in this life. Just in general, like if you're just a dude working at a restaurant, it's up to you to bring up your baggage and use it as an excuse whenever you screw up, or it's up to you to not do that and just focus on your work. But obviously I don't wish ill will on the dude, because no matter which of the lies is true, he is clearly crashing out and going through something. We just can't know what it is exactly. Not while he continues to exaggerate or deflect or use emotional manipulation. Even this video sounded like bullshit because, if I'm not mistaken, all three of these YouTubers made videos on the Nintendo situation, and they weren't positive videos. They weren't glazing Nintendo or defending the price increases, much by the contrary. So they all fit into that box of people who are making negative rage bait videos with apparent misinformation that he mentioned in the Doug Bowser video. The one thing they didn't do that Fratanga did was criticize Sungrand directly, but they did criticize Nintendo. So that's why I think that his thank you video here wasn't even genuine. Or if it was genuine, then why the hell is he holding his audience to a different set of standards that he does these three YouTubers? Or maybe it's genuine but in a different way, you know what I mean? Again, all of these layers, all of these correlations. Plus he said some other weird shit like they were all a team. It felt like they were all a team working together, uploading the videos. And you know, I already saw both Smash JT's and Hypnotic's reaction to that video, and they were both a bit like,
what? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
and yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they didn't work together, they just made videos within the same topics. This would mean that he made videos together with Synthetic Man as well, for example. You know what I mean? It's just stuff that just doesn't make sense. Weird videos, weird emotional stuff. Something's going on with the guy. I don't know what it is. Or maybe he's just really fucking playing us all very well. If that's the case, just stop it. Come on, it's enough. We get it. You're like the Loki of the anti-woke Avengers. If it's genuine, I can only say take care and just good luck figuring out whatever's going on and setting it straight. One way or the other, the content has to change, the attitude towards the audience has to change, the blame has to change, and the lies and the emotional manipulation have to stop. And even then, he has done damage that he's not going to be able to walk back. Like, I don't want to be harsh, but speaking to the content in general, what else is he lying about? And even with his videos on the culture war, are his credentials real? Are the stories that he tells real? We know he makes games, we've seen him making them, and we've seen the games themselves on sale, but if he lied about this stuff, if he lied about his friends, or used that information to fabricate stuff to emotionally manipulate people, then what else did he lie about? Are all those jobs that he claims to have had in the industry even real? When he talks about his job in the industry being compromised and potentially facing repercussions from very left-leaning industry, when he is obviously speaking against the activism in it, is it real? Is he on anyone's radar at all? Were woke people really trying to cancel him? His random videos about his friends, or about the stabbing in a mall just a couple of weeks ago, the stuff that he says in his hangout videos when he just plays some songs or just talks to his audience, could there be lies reaching that far back as well, or is it just the Nintendo stuff? I don't know. And I know that some of this might sound dramatic, like, oh, he lied about this, guys, who knows if his real name is even Jarrell. I get it, not everything is that deep. I know that at some point even these questions start to get too schizo, but that's why I don't even want to get into it. I just wanted to share what happened and my issues with it and my detachment from the situation. I have defended him before based on information that I thought to be true, information that I trusted, which I am now simply not secure in anymore. So I'm just taking a step away from the situation and from the guy in general. I think Jarrell has done terrible damage to himself with this whole situation. There's a bunch of people now reacting to his crash outs and looking into his older videos, digging up crap and making up theories, and it's just nuts that all of this came from some stupid, random, bad take on Nintendo. There was one comment from some user whose name I don't remember anymore, but the comment had a bunch of likes and it said this: "There is strength in taking the L and moving on." Amen, brother. Amen. All he had to do was take the L, or hell, double down and take his W home with him, you know what I mean? He could have been like, nope, you guys are all wrong, Nintendo is amazing, these prices are fine, and you're all wrong and I'm right. And if he had just done that and moved on, he would have actually achieved this supposed goal with way less backlash, because people would have just been like, Well, fuck you then, whatever, screw this guy and his Nintendo takes, I'm outta here. Or maybe they would have been like, well, I disagree with him on this, whatever, I'll come back when he's talking about something else. But instead he just went through this wild rigmarole for nothing. Oh, my friend is dying, oh, this was all just fake, these were prompts that you failed and now I'm mad and disappointed. Oh, hey guys, actually I'm not mad or disappointed at all, everything is golden. I just wanted to lose a few subscribers because I just want to be a positive channel. In the end, it ended up costing his credibility, drawing even more unnecessary attention and potentially leaving a mark that will take a long time to clear up. His industry speeches based on solid information aren't really to be mistrusted, like he's not a news channel, he's a guy giving his opinion, but he's made himself and his content questionable, and honestly, I don't even care if he doesn't do these kinds of videos anymore, it's just, it is what it is. As I said, I liked the industry aspect that he brought to the table, but it's not the end of the world either way. And honestly, things aren't exactly the way that he put it when he said that he was the only industry person who put on the suit and put themselves on the line. Look at the CEO of CI Games, Marek Tymiński. I made a video on him not too long ago, and how he got banned off of his own game subreddit along with the rest of the staff that was on that subreddit because he's speaking against DEI and making changes in his games like replacing body type A and B with male and female because of the result of polling people and acting in accordance to the results. You know, democracy. Granted, I don't know if Marek Tymiński is wearing a suit while he's doing that, he might just be on his couch in his underwear while he's doing those tweets, but the action is still there and he is killing it. He just released a 2.0 overhaul update to Lords of the Fallen that people are having a blast with, showing that he's actually interested in actually listening to people and enabling positive change in the industry. Also, it's worth noting that Jarrell is not an executive in a big company, he just dressed like one. In the end, he's an indie developer protesting the bad practices in the industry, and there's loads of indie developers like that. I follow several of them on X. They just don't have a popular YouTube channel, and in many ways neither would Sungrand if Asmongold hadn't come across his videos. Again, I also am not sure if they wear suits. They probably don't wear a suit. Also, wasn't there a developer from Ori and the Blind Forest who spoke out against that kind of stuff as well? Anyway, this isn't to take away from his work. As I said, I have enjoyed it. It's simply that in his crash out, it was all about how we all failed and now the industry won't listen to us, and in his current videos it's all about how he's done and he can't do those videos anymore, he can no longer contribute to the cause alongside Smash and Vara and Hypnotic. And the reality is just different. We didn't fail a damn thing, there was no industry prompts, just a guy coping with a really bad reaction to a string of bad takes. And if he's only there to fight against bad practices when it suits him, then what is the point? If Nintendo was to start employing DEI and bad character design tomorrow, what would Sungrand do? Praise and defend them too? So you see what I'm saying? Everything is just going to carry on as normal. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep protesting bad practices and keep ignoring bad products. Keep voicing your opinion. Constructive criticism is preferable, but telling a company to go fuck themselves has an effect all the same. As for Sungrand, whatever's going on with him, I hope he gets through it. Maybe I'm still being a bit too naive, but facts are facts. He has made a lot of videos over the past few months, and not every aspect of his personality has to be false. Like, I'm sure most of that is still the real guy, the real Sungrand, and I hope that we get to see that guy back someday, but not while he keeps talking down to his audience, lying, emotionally manipulating people, etc. With that said, I'm heading out. I need to go buy a suit. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and the 7% of gals. We gotta get those numbers up, man. You can't tell me there aren't more girls out there who want to play as Marvel Rivals characters instead of Concord characters. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.